So hi guys, mayong hapon sa tanan no. And since we are having a blended learning modality right now because of the bad weather and the continuous shake no sa ground, then we have this kind of setup where I prefer to record videos na lang no because through this way, although we're not having a synchronous discussion. I find it's better because you are able to replay, slow down the pace. So you will be able to learn the subject on your own pace. So let's get started. Allow me to share my screen. Okay, so we will be discussing about property, plant, and equipment. Actually, we're really behind, no? The based on the syllabus. But sige lang, we'll just try to cover as many lessons. Well, hindi naman as many, no? But let's just cover more lessons given the remaining time. So property, plant, and equipment, this is not that comprehensive. This is a long chapter. So I'll just be introducing what are property, plant, and equipment, its inclusions and exclusions, the the initial measurement and as well as the subsequent measurement. Okay, so let's go over sa definition. Okay, zoom in. Okay, I think that's good. Property, plant, and equipment are tangible assets. Okay, so these are still assets, normally under the non-current assets column, that are held for use in the production or supply of goods or services, for rentals to others, or for administrative purpose and are expected to be used for more than one period. That's why most of them are under non-current. So there are three major characteristics according to the definition. The first one would be that property, plant, and equipment are tangible assets, meaning they have physical substance because we also have intangible assets. Number two, the property, plant, and equipment are used in business, meaning used in production or supply of goods and services, for rental purposes, and for administrative purposes. So we have your machineries, we have your equipment, we have our manufacturing plant if we are into production. We have our commercial space where we do our operation, and we also have our buildings for administrative purposes. And the third one is that property, plant, and equipment, or PPEs, are expected to be used for over a period, more than 1 year. So these are some of the examples. You have land improvements. Okay, so basically, a short description lang between the two. Land is, well, the land. And improvements are the improvements sa ato ang yuta. We have usually mga kalsada, mga fence, mga lights that are installed in the land. We also have the building, machinery, ship, okay? Aircraft ship for kanang sa dagat, mga barko. Aircraft, of course, airplanes, motor vehicles, furnitures and fixtures. So mga tables and chairs, office equipment, patterns, molds and dies, tools, bearer plants. Okay? So the recognition of PPEs. An item of PPE shall be recognized as an asset when, number one, it is probable that economic benefit associated with the asset will flow to the entity. And number two, the cost of the asset can be measured reliably. Basically, that's just the definition of an asset. So long as that item will give us future economic benefit, then we recognize it as an asset. And number two, the cost of the asset can be measured reliably. Okay, what about spare parts and servicing equipment? So most spare parts and servicing equipment are usually carried as inventory and are recognized as expense when consumed. Let's say, for example, we have an equipment, we have bolts, nuts, spare parts that are ginagamit nato in order to repair and for maintenance of our equipment. So generally speaking, they are just carried as inventory. Okay, carried as inventory pag dili pa magamit But the moment na magamit na nato siya, we simply record them as expense. However, there are also ginatawag na to nga major spare parts and standby equipment qualify as property, plant, and equipment. For example, we have a car. So one of the major spare parts sa car is the engine. So daot atong car, magpalit og bag-o nga engine, kato nga bag-o nga engine, instead of treating it as inventory and expensing it pag magamit na nato, we carry it over as PPE. So kung sa tong value sa engine, then we add it at we record it as part of our equipment. Okay, measurement at recognition. So kabalo na tano when to recognize the spare parts. And for property, plant, and equipment, an item that qualifies for recognition as an asset shall be measured at cost. Okay? So, at cost siya. Sa may timailhan sa cost. What does cost mean? It means that the amount of cash or cash equivalent paid and the fair value of the other consideration given to acquire an asset at the time of an acquisition. Okay? So, there are three elements of the cost. Number one is the purchase price. Okay? So kung nagpalit ta og equipment, for example, kung nagbayad ta og 1 million, 1 million as of that moment, as of the time of purchase, then the 1 million is part of the cost, including import duties and non-refundable purchase taxes. So if kailangan na ito mo bayad og let's say 20,000 pesos, gipalit man siya abroad, tapos ipasok na sa Pilipinas, at kailangan na ito mabayad og custom duties amounting to 20,000 pesos. The 20,000 pesos is included in the purchase price. What does that mean? It simply means that if the equipment costed us 1 million to purchase, then nagbayad to og custom duties 20,000 pesos para mapasok sa Philippines, it means that the purchase price of our equipment is not 1 million, not 20,000, but the combined amount of the two, 1 million and 20,000 pesos. Letter B, cost directly attributable to bringing the asset to the location and condition necessary for it capable of operating in the manner intended by the management. What does it mean? It means that, okay, ipalit na to sa abroad, ibayad ng 20,000 for the custom duties, pero kailangan pa nato siya i-travel from Manila to Davao City. Something like that. Okay? And it would cost us another 100,000 pesos to transport it. So katong 100,000 pesos that is spent or the transportation will be added to the equipment again as part of PPE. Now, pag-abot sa planta nato, kailangan pa nato siya i-diskarga. Kailangan pa nato siya i-diskarga, kailangan pa nato siya i-install, kailangan pa nato siya i-program para magamit nato. So let's say there's another additional cost of 50,000 pesos. Sige, lista nato ha para di na pamalimutan. Okay, purchase price. Medyo layo na ako microphone. No? Purchase price, 1 million pesos. Custom duties, 20,000 pesos. Transportation, another 100,000 pesos. And sa pa ba? Installation. Let's say 50,000 pesos. So far, we have already spent, okay, so far we have already spent 1,170,000 for our equipment. So kani sila tanan, these are added to our equipment. Okay, but we're not done yet because napay number 3. Initial estimate of the cost of dismantling and removing the item and restoring the site on which it is located, the obligation for which an entity occurs. So the accounting standard tells us that if there is an estimated cost for the dismantling and removing of the item, let's say gitaod na to siya dito sa yuta or sa building, and after 5 years of useful life, kailangan na to siya tanggalon, spending around another 50,000. So our accounting standard tells us that it shall be added to our cost. But for purposes of discussion, we will not be including letter C. So far, we have purchase price, the custom duties, transportation, installation, and other necessary expenses, totaling to 1,170,000. So kaning 1,170,000, this will now be the cost of our equipment. Dili lang siya million. Okay, so this our cost. So ano siya, no? Directly attributable cost, cost of employee benefits arising directly from the acquisition, cost of site preparation, delivery, installation, professional fees. So these are the attributable cost nga ginapatong nato sa ato ang purchase price and custom duties. Nga naman, what's the rationale behind? Because at the end of the day, kung naa dira ang equipment pero dili siya ma-install, dili na to i-prepare ang site for it to function, then useless ang equipment. So these are necessary and direct and necessary expenses and costs related to the equipment for it to function and for it to provide economic benefit sa ato ang business. Therefore, these are all added to the cost of the equipment. Okay, let's just skip this one. Okay, so this is important. Measurement after recognition. Okay, naanatay cost. So in our example, naanatay 1,170,000. Of course, that is just the initial measurement. In accounting and in financial accounting, let us be reminded that there is an initial recognition and there are subsequent recognition or measurement. So after the initial recognition, an entity shall choose either the cost model or the revaluation model. You are a little bit more familiar with the cost model, wherein we use the cost of the explanation there. The cost model means that property, plant, and equipment are carried at cost less the accumulated depreciation. So, natay cost based on our purchase price and the other direct attributable cost. And then we have the salvage value and also the useful life. So, every year, we will be computing depreciation expense in relation to the equipment or the PPE. So, purchase cost less the accumulated depreciation will arrive at the carrying cost. So that is how the cost model works. An alternative of that, which we will no longer be discussing, is the revaluation model. Means that property, plant, and equipment are carried at revalued carrying amount. We still follow the cost and then depreciation. However, every now and then, naga-revalue ta sa maong equipment. So we will be hiring experts, consultants probably to assess and revalue the equipment. So let's say, ang carrying cost niya is 300,000 na lang. Tapos moingon sila nga, this particular machine, even if it already has a 300,000 carrying cost, this can still be valued at 500,000. So, i-carry over na to siya sa 500,000 on the date of the revaluation. Okay. So, this is the tricky part, no? Because there are normally, hindi naman normally, no? But there are a lot of businesses that were kaning mga PPE man good, property, plant, and equipment. Let's be reminded that these are expensive purchases. Okay, dili lang siya usahay thousands and thousands, but millions and even billions pagani usahay because equipment, building, land, okay? So, apil na siya diri. Therefore, it's not that practical to purchase it on cash basis. Siguro katong mga gagmay lang, mga equipment, let's say, mga thousands lang and few millions, then we can just purchase it outright. Bayad lang tag cash. However, sometimes it's not the most practical means kasi we might be using our cash for some other more important purposes. Therefore, in terms of acquisition of a property, there are a lot of ways. Pwede paliton, cash, outright. Pwede pod utangon on account, subject to cash discount. We also have installment basis, which is the most common. Number 4, issuance of share capital. So So let's be reminded that share capital is that, if you remember the accounting equation, asset is equals to liability plus equity. Dito sa share capital, the equity section, when we issue shares, we are actually issuing or sharing the ownership of the business. So sa issuance of share capital, it means that, okay, we will be purchasing this equipment pero dili na magbayad og cash. But instead, hatagan tika og share capital for you to be part of the owners of this business. Okay, the same pod for issuance of bonds payable. Utangon gihapon nato, but we will be issuing bonds for a long-term liability. There are also times exchange. So yung mahitabo sa exchange. Naka-equipment, swap ta. Okay, cambio ta. Or let's say, kung mas mahal akong equipment, duha ka equipment nimo. Hatag na ko ang isa, dawato na ko ang duha. So something like that. So that is an exchange. We also have donation. Well, of course, you donate. Government grant and construction. So sa government grant, yatag sa government. And of course, we have construction, especially for building. So there is a separate chapter for government grant and construction of PPEs, but I'm unsure if kaya pa ba nato siya i-cover. But for purposes of this discussion, we will be discussing cash basis on account and then installment basis lang of purchases for property. Okay, let's go over the accounting side of this properties. The cost of an item of PPE is the cash price equivalent at the recognition date. So, dali lang na siya. Let us be reminded that aside from the cost consists of the cash paid the cash paid plus directly attributable costs such as freight, installation, and other necessary costs. So for example, the land and building are acquired at a single cost of 550,000. Take note, we are purchasing two properties here. Building tsaka land. So naka-lump sum siya nga presyo of 5,500,000. At the time of acquisition, the land has a value of 1 million and building. Okay, sige, analyze muna natin. Nagpalita og bundled item. Building tsaka land. So gipalit na to siya for 5,500,000 pesos. However, the fair value of those properties as of the time of acquisition is 1 million and 4 million respectively. So how do we divide or how do we divide how do we divide or allocate the purchase price of the properties? So land is 1 million, building is 4 million. So the fair value is 5 million lang as compared to our purchase price of 5,500,000. So dali lang, no? We will just be using a fraction. So total na itong duha, land and building, that's 5 million. And then we will get a fraction of the land divided by the total. So 1 over 5 and then 4 over 5. Then i-multiply na ito siya sa 5,500,000. Okay. So 5 million. Sorry. 5,500,000 times 1 divided by 5. So this is for the land. So that's 1, okay? And of course, for the building, 5 times 4 over 5. That's 4. Therefore, in this cash basis method, we have purchased the land for 411 and then the building for 4. Now, you might be asking, sir, nganong kailangan man siya bulagon? Dili ba pwedeng diretso na lang sa atong account title nga land and building 5. Well, pwede naman if mao na siya nakabutang sa imong policy, internal policy. However, it does not follow the accounting standard. Bakit? Kasi land is different from building. So these are two properties that have their own fair value and are used differently. Therefore, mas better yun nga ato siyang bulagon. Therefore, our accounting Wala tayo account din, no? Our entry to record this transaction is okay. So we have our land, debit land, 1 million. No, 1 million. And we also have our building. Hindi, 1 million ba to? 1-1. 1-1, no? And then 4-4. Okay? And then credit, cash. So, palit mo na to. Cash. 5. Ayan. So, that is our entry. So, record purchase of land and building. Okay. Next. Acquisition on account. When an asset is acquired on account, subject to a cash discount, the cost of the asset is equal to the invoice price, take the invoice price, minus the discount, regardless of whether the discount is taken or not. If the discount is not taken, the same is charged to purchase discount lost account, which is shown as other expenses. The reason is that a reasonably wise management would take advantage of all discount. So if dili na to siya, makuha ang discount, it means nga murag medyo na ay pagkulang, no, in terms of our management of our payables. So cash discounts are generally considered reduction of cost and not as income. Take note, reduction of cost and not as income. So, for example, an equipment is purchased 100,000. Okay, natay discount 2/10 and then N/30. The purchase may be recorded as either gross method or net method. The same with our receivables and inventories. So under gross method, we simply record the equipment at gross amount, which is 100,000 pesos. So equipment, debit, then credit, accounts payable. So gross method niya, okay, to record within the discount period. So if within the discount period, then itong mabayaran lang is 98,000 pesos because we are availing of the 2,000 pesos na discount. Okay, tanawa ha, yun sa niya pag-record diri sa gross method if na-avail ang discount. Debit, accounts payable, 100,000. It will reduce our accounts payable by 100,000 since 100,000 man po ato ang payable. Then, ito na bayad niya cash is only 98. And then, the 2,000 is a reduction of the asset. Okay? Wala ta. If you can remember and recall that in our discussion sa accounts receivable, pag na-ay discount, pag na-ay discount niya ma-avail, we usually record it as income. So, may gamit na itong purchase. So, ito purchase discount na to? Purchase discount or basta na, I forgot the account. Basta it is usually recorded as an income. But this time, ang treatment nato sa discount is a reduction of the equipment. So the equipment was initially recorded at 100,000 pesos. However, we paid within the discount period. Therefore, instead of 100,000, 98,000 lang dito ang nabayad. So from 100, ibawasan na to 2,000, then our equipment is now recorded at 98,000. So nga nung 98, 100 man dire, di ba? Debit, then equipment, credit. So ang iyang balance is only 98. So to record the payment, okay, what about if it is beyond the discount period? Debit, accounts payable, yapon. Then cash, 100,000. Then purchase discount lost, 2,000. And then equipment, 2,000. So what is the effect of this? The effect of this is that, wait lang, tama ba na iyang account entry? To record the payment beyond the discount period. Okay, so yeah. So accounts payable, 100, then cash, 100,000. But since in our receivables, supposedly wala na rin 2,000, no? Sa itong receivables. However, there is a little bit of difference between receivables and property, plant, and equipment, wherein the 2,000 pesos nga wala nato na avail is treated as purchase discount loss. Okay, so more nalugi ta because there is a discount supposedly pero wala nato na avail. So we record it as a loss under the account of purchase discount loss, and we also credit the equipment. So what's the effect of this? The effect of this is that our equipment is now recorded at 98,000 pesos. Okay, from 100, nahimo na lang siyang 98 because of the credit of equipment. But at the same time, 98 siya recorded pero it resulted to a loss 2,000 pesos. Okay? So, ganun. If you have questions about this kind of transaction, feel free to comment or message me sa Messenger for me to clarify. Okay, what about under the net method? So, syempre, there is a 2,000 pesos possible discount. Therefore, we simply record it at net. The purchase amount is equipment, 98,000, and credit accounts payable, 98. So, if within the discount period, then as is lang, bayad ta sa atong accounts payable ng 98 and then we give out the cash. But if the discount is beyond the discount period, then we simply debit accounts payable, then debit also the loss under purchase discount loss and then credit cash. So mas dali ang net method no, in terms of handling the discount. Observe that the asset may initially be recorded at gross or at net, but ultimately the recorded cost should be the net amount. Okay, acquisition on installment basis. So ako personally, no, I have experienced this one when we had our eatery. So nami gamay lang nga cash, but in order to maximize the cash na nasa mo, we decided nga mangutang og mga equipment. Nangutang mi og duha ka chiller, nangutang mi og mga other item, basta daghan mi gipangutang nga mga items so that even if gamay lang mong cash, na-maximize na mo siya in a sense nga daghan kompleto na amo ang gamit sa padanan. Nag-down payment lang mi and then katong ma-income na mo sa business, mo to mong ibayad monthly. The good thing about that as well is, let's say if malugi ka, 3 months into the operation, you decided to stop, kay lugi, then ipa-embargo lang nimo ang imuhang, gamay lang imong nalugi because you can opt to ipa-embargo lang ang imuhang mga equipment. Oops, din ako kabayad, so paano lang ninyo nil, lugi naman ko. As compared sa bayaran nimo cash, tapos syempre, nabayaran nimo cash, wala na uli, pero lugi na ka. Nag-gets na ninyo. Sabi mo, palit ka og freezer, palit ka og ref, kadako, 30,000 pesos. So, bayaran niyo mo ng 30,000 pesos and then after 3 months, maundang na ka, wala na kakabawi, lugi na jud ka. However, kung sa 30,000 pesos, nag-down payment lang ka og, let's say, 3,000, and then nag-monthly ka og, sabot ka na to, 2,000 lang imong monthly. So, that's 3, down payment, then 2,000, 2,000, 9,000 lang ay muhang lugi as compared sa 30,000 pesos nga lugi. I don't know if masabtan ba ninyo. Okay, sana tayo. When payment for item for PPE is deferred beyond normal credit terms, the cost is the cash price equivalent. Okay, what does this mean? It means that, di ba, palito nato, pero atoa siyang utangon beyond the normal credit term. So, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Okay. How much man nato i-record ang ato ang PPE considering mag-installment man ta for several years? The answer to that question is this. The cost is the cash price equivalent. This means that even if bayaran nato siya tagi-tagi for the next 3 years or 5 years, we will still be recording the equipment on the cash price, even if wala nato na siya na-avail. So, the excess of the installment price over the cash price is treated as an interest to be amortized over the credit period. Okay, an example there. So a machinery is purchased at an installment price of 350. Okay, the invoice price is 350,000. The terms are, okay, sa unsaon na to pagbayad ang 350. 50,000 pesos down and the balance payable in 3 equal annual installments. What does that mean? It means that 350 bawasan og 50,000 nga down na itay 300,000 pesos nga utang. And then according to the terms, we will be paying it in 3 equal annual installment. So sa year 1, bayad ta og 100,000, another 100,000, and then another 100,000 on the third year. However, if palito nato unta siya kung cash, the machineries is only 290,000 pesos. Promissory note is issued for the installment. Okay, so nato na siya pag-record. Record na to siya at the cash price, therefore 290. Debit machinery, 290,000 pesos. Then, we give out the notes payable nga 300,000 and then the cash nga 50. So, naay difference nga 60,000 pesos. 60,000 pesos. We debit it as a discount on note payable. Okay, discount on note payable. This is just a temporary account and we will just be amortizing it sa 3-year period. Okay. Record ta sa ato ang first installment. Siyempre, first installment na to 100,000 cash atong ibayad. So, credit cash 100,000 pesos and with debit note payable. Bawasan nato atong utang. And of course, we have to amortize the discount. So, according to our accounting standard, so nakabutang dire. The excess of the installment price over the cash price is treated as an interest to be amortized over the credit period because interest man din na siya. Kung palito na to siya cash, 290 lang. Pero sa ngalan niya giutang, 350 ato mabayaran. So unsa matong tubo? That's actually the interest. So debit, interest expense, credit, discount on note payable. So ginaanam-anam na nato og amortize ang discount. So giyon sa pagkuha 30. Yan lang. So the first year, our outstanding note payable is 300,000. So nagbayad tag 50,000 natay utang nga 300. So on the first year, it's still 300. On the second year, since nakabayad naman ta og 100, 200 na lang ang mabilin, and on the third year, 100 na lang ang mabilin. Take note ha, dili ni siya ang ato ang ibayad. This is the balance, okay, the running balance of our note payable over the 3-year period. First year, 300 ang balance. Second year, 200 ang balance. Third year, 100 ang balance. And then, total anang tulo ka outstanding balance is 600. So, just like katong ganina, we get the numerator 3 over 6. That's 3 over 6. 2 over 6, then 1 over 6. Dili siya gikuha ha. And then, multiply it sa 60,000 pesos nga discount. So, 300,000 pesos times 3 over 6. So, that's, 60,000 pesos sa lahat ng discount. Times 3 over 6. Okay, that's 30,000. Then, kaya dili 200 yung basis ha. Katong yapong 60. Times 2 over 6. That's 20. And then, the remaining 10. So the fractions are developed from the notes payable outstanding. Okay, so this one, let's just skip this. Other methods para dili kay daghan ang inyong. Okay. Discuss lang na ako din, but this will not be included as part of the entries because this is being applied. So trade-in is a form of exchange. If makaremember, if na kay iPhone ba to or Samsung, basta na ay cellphone company wherein bawasan nila kung mopalit ka og brand new, mopalit ka og latest model sa cellphone. pwede nimo i-trade in ang imong daan. Okay, I don't know if familiar mo ana. Basta na nga arrangement. Palit ka og brand new na cellphone and then pero dili ka magbayad sa katong brand new price. Na siya reduction if i-trade in nimo imuhang daan nga phone. So that is the trade-in. This means that a property is acquired by exchanging another property as part payment. Okay? Hindi mo bayaran ang full price. It is already reduced by the amount of PPE na imuha pong ihatag. In the balance payable in cash or any other form. Trade-in involves a non-dealer acquiring the asset from a dealer. Trade-in usually involves a significant amount of cash and therefore the transaction has commercial substance. So as an exchange with commercial substance, the new asset is recorded at order of priority. Okay? So pag sinabing order of priority, kaning letter A ang ito ang priority. Kung dili na siya available, then we proceed to letter B. So fair value of the asset given plus cash payment. And then B, trade-in value of the asset given plus the cash payment. So this is just an example. An entity traded an old equipment with a dealer for a newer equipment. So muna ito siya kung ingon. Okay. So the new equipment, ang price yun niya is 2 million pesos. And then the trade-in value of the old equipment is 500,000. Therefore, napa siya bayaran niya 1,500,000. So ang old equipment pod, ang pagpalit nato sa una 1.4 accumulated 100. Therefore, the carrying amount is only 400. Asagi ka ng 400, sir. 1.4 minus 1 million. Okay, and then ang fair value niya as of the time nga palito nato ng new equipment is 350. And the trade-in value is 500. So, okay. Medyo taas-taas na siya ng computation ha. So, hang in tight. Fair value of the asset given, that's 350 plus the cash payment. So, mo nito siyang nakabutang dito nga sa order of priority na to. Fair value of the asset given, take note ha, the asset given plus the cash payment. So, mo na siya. Pag available na siya, then we record the new equipment as that. Mabito na, ang new equipment na to is recorded at 1,850. Asagi ka ng 1,850, sir? Sa fair value of the asset given, which is 350, plus the cash payment na 1,500. So, 1,850. Okay, so debit, equipment, and then fair value of the asset given, 350, then carrying amount, 400. Sa atong libro, the equipment is recorded at 400. Pero ang fair value niya is 350 lang. Therefore, lugi taog 50,000 sa maong exchange. So, gihatag nato ang daan niya equipment valued at 1.4 together with the accumulated depreciation. Kaya makuyog mo nyo na sila. We record the new equipment at 1,850. Then, magbayad taog 1.5 niya cash. And also, sa trade-in niya transaction, we have actually made a loss of 50,000 pesos. Okay, so let's just end there. And okay, here's the thing. We are done with for section A. We are done with the quiz naman last time. So we'll be having another quiz by Wednesday, hopefully. Kung pwede na tayo magbalik face-to-face classes. But for section B, ang tapos section B is natay bag-o nga topic karon ay ugma day. I'm recording na Monday, no? So ugma pa ninyo ni siya na ako ihatag Tuesday. And then by Thursday, we will be having a quiz sa atong last na to nga topic. So ayun lang. Hopefully na nasabtan, okay, na gets. And if there are questions, feel free to reach out. And of course, stay safe everyone. Kato lang and maayong hapon sa tanan.